Coach, can you take us through the decision-making process of trading down with the Patriots?
Yeah, we felt like there was going to be some good options there. Just moving back 8 spots, we got some ammunition for later in the draft. Really, even in hindsight, feel really good about our decision. We got a guy that we were really high on.
Was Jackson Carman the player you were going to pick all along? Was he the player you coveted?
Yeah, Carman Jackson.
Carman, yes, sorry.
We would have taken him. I'm sorry, Jackson Carman. You got it right the first time. We would have taken him at 38. We would have felt very great about that. Moved back, still got the player we wanted, and got some picks later on in the draft.
Well, Zach, obviously, the factor was him playing in such high-level games, championship games, playing in the conference that he's in terms of expecting him to come in and play and give you some help right away.
Yeah, he's got great experience. He'll come in and compete at guard for us. He certainly has played a lot of tackle in his days in Clemson. So we feel good about the position flexibility there, but he'll come in and compete at guard right away.
Thanks.
Do you foresee him being able to play tackle?
Absolutely. He's done it for a long time there at a very high level. He's got great athleticism, and he's shown that he can do it against some really good competition. You can turn on the tape over a couple of years and see him against a bunch of guys that went in the first round of the draft and held his own. And we certainly feel like there's a lot of upside with Jackson.
You feel that too with the trade, you pick up an extra pick where the depth of the draft really starts to show itself?
Yeah, I think we're in a really good position here as the next couple of rounds unfold.
Zach, you seem to have a trend with drafting an LSU guy first and then a Clemson guy second. How much does intel from guys, in that locker room just help you out with a guy like Jackson, talking with guys like T and other guys?
We take all the information we can get. That's certainly not the deciding factor. But again, we weigh everything that we can find, and having great conversations over the last couple of years with Coach Sweeney down in Clemson. He's really helped us with T and Jackson, and so feel like we're in position to get some really good players out of those programs, and it's paid off so far for us.
Zach, how challenging is it trying to parse through all these offensive line prospects that are kind of in the mix today, and where teams stand on them? It seems like it's maybe a tough thing to understand where guys could be because there just seems to be so many of them. Is that made this kind of a challenge, kind of maneuvering through this?
Well, what I'll tell you is we've done a ton of work on these offensive linemen, as you all can imagine, over the last couple of months, weeks, days, hours. And what I would tell you is we're looking for guys that fit us, that we have a vision for, that we think fit the things that we want to do. Will come in and upgrade us, at that position. And you'll get a chance to hear from Frank Pollock here at some point tonight. But, we really felt like this was a guy that we have a great vision for, that'll come in, compete, and has great flexibility for us.
Is his athleticism one of the things that sold you on him?
Yes. I think he's got tremendous athleticism, and there's a lot of things that we like about this guy. He can anchor, pass protect. He gets great movement in the run game. He's a really good athlete. He has high football intelligence. I'm just talking to this kid over Zoom the last couple of weeks. It is really impressive how quickly he'll walk in and be able to understand the schemes that we're going to employ, and just a really impressive person as you talk to him.
Zach, I saw he didn't compete at Clemson's pro day. I'm assuming that all the medicals came back okay, and y'all feel comfortable about kind of where he's at medically.
Yes, we do.
Zach, obviously, he's a hometown hero, hometown kid. That's going to be a big storyline. I know he has to be excited to come here. What was your conversation like with him, just kind of giving him that news that he gets to play right down the road for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, I told him, welcome home. He made a comment that I'll be there quickly. We don't get into in-depth conversations over the course of that initial call, so I'm unclear if he's here in town or if he's back in South Carolina. But it sounded like a guy that was very excited to come back to Cincinnati. Just our conversations over Zooms, primarily with Frank, as I listened in. He always seemed like he had a lot of regret for coming back home.
Zach, I know he's at his high school coach's house tonight.
Say that one more time.
He is here. He's at his high school coach's house tonight. When you guys left the building last night and you saw how many offensive linemen were on the board, did it feel like that this was going to be the move to trade back, or was it a matter of you had to wait till you got the right offer?
Both, we weigh both of those for sure. It's not just, hey, we're going to trade back just because we decide we're going to trade back. You got to get the right stuff. And thought that we got great value for moving back those 8 picks. It is one that you trade back and you got a player that you want. You are crossing your fingers there as every pick. Those 7 minutes feel like 7 hours as the seconds tick off. But very happy with how it turned out for us.
Coach, I know Jackson's worked out with Willie Anderson. I think he's done some work with Paul Alexander as well. Were you able to talk to both of those guys about him and how he is?
We do our best to utilize every resource, but as you evaluate, over 400 prospects, really, you don't get a chance to talk to everybody that they may be working with outside of their program. That's always the challenge of figuring out who those people are and who to talk to. So I'm not going to pretend that we reach out to everybody that's put hands on them.
Why do you see him as a guard, and what's that transition going to look like for him to compete at guard, having played tackle at Clemson?
Yeah, that's the question, because all the game tape is him playing tackle. Just conversations with the staff down there. They cross-train all those guys, so he gets a lot of work at guard as they continue to develop younger guys at tackle as well. So he's got plenty of work there. Conversations with him, he feels very comfortable playing wherever you need to play him on the offensive line to make sure we get our best players on the field as well. So I know he's excited for the competition, and we're ready to get him back in the fold.
Zac, obviously, everyone was clamoring for y'all to get an offensive lineman. I mean, do you feel like I'm guessing there were a good amount of guys that y'all felt had a pretty similar grade moving back that you felt you were comfortable, getting a guy that you liked at 38. Is that probably fair to say?
I think that there's a lot of linemen that are in the mix, and then a smaller number that we really target, and I certainly won't get in depth at who those people are, but just because there's a lot of guys available doesn't mean that they're all necessarily targets for us. But again, we're pleased with how this played out with Jackson.
Coach, you're getting to a personality of the offensive line, with Reef and, Jonah has a little bit of edge to him. As you said, you're creating your team. You look for guys that have a little bit of edge on the offensive line just to say, hey, we can hit too, versus particularly defending being hit.
Yeah, this guy's got good size, and we like smart football players too. That means something to us. And with the addition of Riley, the addition of Jackson, we've done that. We've continued to add guys who have a great understanding and love for the game of football. On top of the guys that we already have in the mix, we're starting to feel really good about that group and who we have in the building to compete.
Thanks.
Do you like where the offensive line is as a whole right now?
I do. I think we're moving in a great direction. Anxious for Frank to get on the field and get a chance to work with these guys. Now you're getting into the draft now where players that you have value on could slide, and you get opportunities to keep adding quality players to your team. And so we'll see how the rest of the draft shakes out for us.
How's Adeniji after his rookie year? I mean, I thought, he really showed he's got some great movement skills. And I mean, if he were in this year's draft, he'd be a pretty good prospect, wouldn't he? I thought that he was probably worthy of being drafted higher than he was last year. What's the thought of Adeniji after having him for a year?
I agree with that. The team has a lot of potential. We're really excited about Hakeem's future. Really excited about a lot of the future of some of the young linemen that we have in the building here. And again, we got some veterans too that are made of the right stuff that are ready to compete too. They're not just here to be a placeholder. These guys are competing and want to play as well. So really feel good about the depth of those positions that we're creating. And like I said, just the overall football intelligence and football character of that room is really trending in the right direction for us.
2 more minutes.
Zac, could you see this guy being your opening day left guard?
I don't want to make any predictions. These guys are going to show up. We'll see how quickly they can adapt to life in the NFL. But certainly think that he's going to come in and compete for an opportunity to be a starting player for us.
How'd things go with Jamar today? I'm sure it was exciting to see him in person since he's joined the team.
He's, it looks like he's on cloud 9. Really excited to be here. You can tell it's very genuine. His family's excited for him. Great people that we got a chance to interact with. So it was good to finally, for me, get a chance to meet Jamar. I hadn't met him yet. I didn't get to go to the pro day. I'd only been on Zooms with him and phone calls, but good to finally meet him.